Hi guys, this video is going to show you how I turned this pile of stationery, paper bits, ephemera, what most people would call junk, and recycle it into an upcycled keepsake journal. So I'm going to start with this Cheez-Its box and cut off the tabs and open it up and use this as the cover of our junk journal. I'm going to start by recycling some old tissue paper and using a little bit of Mod Podge and crinkling it up and gluing it down to add a little bit of texture so it doesn't just look like a cracker box. Once I've let the Mod Podge and tissue paper dry, I go in with a hot glue gun and add a little bit more detail. This is going to add a bit of a raised area and add a bit more detail on top of our book cover. Once the hot glue dries, I go in with another layer of this crinkled up tissue paper. I think it just makes a really cool kind of old texture. And once I layer up a few more layers of tissue paper and let it dry, I take my cover outside and cover it with a coat or two of black spray paint. And because I used a gloss spray paint, my cover ended up a little bit more shiny than I would have liked, but that's okay because I'm gonna add some decorations to the cover anyways. But first, I want to work on what's going to go inside of the journal. So my signatures consist of about 10 pages of random variety: wrapping paper, magazine, craft paper, envelopes, mailing, packaging, stationery, scrapbooking paper, just maps, anything. And I fold it in half and make kind of a paper taco with all of my pages in the signature. Then I take that paper taco over to my sewing machine and run a straight stitch right down the center of the signature, just about 2 inches or so right in the middle, just to hold the signature together while I'm assembling the book. I repeat the same process with all of my signatures, making the taco and then stitching them together. In this book, I'm going to have 3 signatures inside this cover, which you can see now that the paint has dried and I have decorated it. We are ready to put the book together. For this, I'm going to use a recycled postage mailer because it's made up of Tyvek, which is a strong but flexible material, which is great for binding our book together. You could also use canvas, fabric, cardstock, whatever you can recycle. This is a junk journal, use whatever you got. The thing that really makes it come all together is this book binding kit, which I will have linked below. I know I said recycle, but this really makes the book come together. It comes with needles, thread, awl, bone folder, ruler, clips, and the bookbinder's thread, which is just next level for keeping your junk journals together. So I will have it linked down below if you guys are interested. It really makes making these journals so much easier and more professional and sturdy. So to bind everything together, I'm going to cut a piece of Tyvek that's the same height as my book, but about 2 inches wider than my spine. Then I'm going to use a scrap that's the same height as my spine and my signatures and create a template. It goes kind of fast, but I'm just making 3 equidistant points so I know where to punch all my holes, so when I sew everything together, all of the holes line up. The template I use just spaces the holes out easily. So I put the holes onto my flexible piece of Tyvek, and then I'm going to use that as a template to make the holes onto the cover. And I'm using the awl that came in the bookbinding kit, and it's so sharp it punches through everything, so I really have to watch my fingers, but it makes putting these books together so easy. Then I'm using the same template with the 3 holes to make the holes in my signatures. And this template just assures that all of my signatures and the spine will line up and will sew together easily. Now that I have all of the holes in the signatures and the spine, this is where it really gets tricky. So to bind everything together, I thread the needle with the bookbinder's thread, start from the middle on the inside, pull it out, and then go from the outside in, going from either the top or the bottom hole. It doesn't really matter because you're going to go back out through the middle, and then from the outside go back in the opposite hole that you didn't go through the first time. You'll see here I went in the bottom hole this time and pull it through to the inside and then tie a knot. I know that sounds the most confusing ever. When I tie this knot, I also like to pull it really tight in the same direction that my book is bound, that the thread is going. It just makes a really tight knot and secures your signature in place. Then I'm going to show you how the other two signatures go in, because like I said, it does sound really confusing. But I thread the needle and I start from the inside, the middle, I go out, back in, through the bottom, through the middle, and then back in from the outside through the top, and again tie a knot. And I always put an envelope in the middle of my signatures so that I can close that little flap and hide my knot. That's my little sneaky trick there. You can see that I left the threads kind of hanging out there at the top, and I'm going to hang some charms off once we're done binding this book. So this last signature goes in the exact same way. I start in the middle, thread through, go out, in, out, tie a knot, same kind of thing. I also left some threads hanging off on this signature so that I could add some more charms. Now I'm just going to glue these flaps down of the Tyvek onto the back spine of the book. I wanted to add just a little more glue, so that's why I pulled it out. But I'm going to do the same thing on the front, just making sure that this flap of Tyvek is secured to our cover piece. And then our signature is attached to the cover, just like that. Like I said, I left some threads hanging down off of the middle of the signatures when I bound the book, so I'm just going to use these threads and tie some charms on. Most of these charms are either sentimental, sent from pen pals, off of old jewelry pieces, or from BB Crafts. They have the cutest butterflies and teardrop charms, so I will have as much as I can linked, but some of these are like old jewelry pieces or old beads. But I did want to add one of these cameo pieces from BB Crafts on the charms, because this is how I've been documenting my other journals. So you can see on my volume number 2, I have a beautiful charm with the butterflies and this little cameo piece with the number 2 in it. That's my second volume junk journal. You can see the same thing on number 3. I used a cameo and a bunch of charms, so that way when it's sitting on the shelf, I can see which volume of book it is. So I kind of want to do the same thing for this charm and add some cute little pieces and a number so I know which volume it is. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do for this journal. Once I have this charm glued together, the cameo set is so cute. I love how it looks for labeling my journals, and I'm actually really kind of impressed with how this book turned out, and I cannot wait to fill it with memories. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and check out my new website. I have been working really hard on it, so it will be linked as well. as many products as I showed and can find links for will also be in the description, so please check that out. Make sure you're subscribed for more videos to see me hopefully working in this junk journal. I am so excited to get started. I've already added a few little things, and I cannot wait to share more junk journaling videos with you guys. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Stay creative, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!